So it's a 2017 Audi A6. And this is like one of those days where my morals and ethics get tested. And uh, um, I just instinctively I just feel wrong about this. And but I had a request, and I'm gonna follow through with the request. The customer texted me and stated that they needed an oil pan gasket put on because the husband said he needed an oil pan gasket. And I said, you know what? I gave him a quote. I'm going to follow through with what was requested, and I'm going to try to keep a clear conscience. But my curiosity always tend to get the best of me, and guilt's going to manifest, regret's going to manifest, and I know what's going to happen once I start questioning things, looking through things, because the customer isn't always right. So, if y'all know, these oil pan gaskets are sealed with glue. The bottom oil pan, not the sub assembly, the top, the upper, but the bottom. And it's a 2 hour job to do the lower oil pan. I have not gotten in the bottom and looked at anything yet. It's a 2 hour job to do this oil pan. And it's glued. Glue 99% of the time don't leak. And it's not like it's a timing cover housing. It just should be a flat surface that's sealed. Oil, just for you guys who don't know, or for you husbands who, think they know it all. And trust me, I am not the smartest guy in the world. You can look at my videos and see all the mistakes that I make. Y'all take gravity into consideration, because oil travels from top down, not from bottom up. So just looking around here, everything looks fine. But it's a possibility. The husband may be right, and I could be wrong. But yeah, maybe he is right, and they need an oil pan, and maybe I'm just overthinking things, and I shouldn't cast doubt on customers of what's wrong with their vehicles, because I, in fact, make mistakes just like everybody else. And maybe they're right, but by the looks of things, I don't know. Got some oil drippage here. I mean, they put oil in it, spilled it. Okay. See if I can get down in there. There's some oil down at the bottom. So probably from the cap going down, probably just from a regular oil change. From the top here going down, it could just be a seal inside of here. That's what it looks like. Let's go back here, because it's wet down in the back. It's wet down there. Above the oil pan is wet on the block. Maybe he's right, and I'm the one over exaggerating. Maybe it does actually need an oil pan, but I'm gonna record my end, and just do what's requested. I don't want to sit there and question the fact that I don't think they need an oil pan and they have to pay a diagnostic cost. I'm just gonna do what they want. Let me jack this car up. Let's go in there and check this oil pan. I'm like, I started to do it. Like, screw it. I'll put this gasket on here, charge him what I was going to charge him. And in the end of the day, it was going to come back and bite me in the ass anyway, because guess what? The car's going to leak. And they were going to be like, well, you put it on there. And then I'm going to get blamed for doing something wrong, as if it was my repair that failed and not their assessment. Because the husband wanted it. The husband said it. The husband, this is what he needs. He wasn't, like dead set on, the wife texted me. I've been working on their cars for years. And it's like, one of those situations, like, what do? Do you just take the money, do as they request, or, do as they request, and then it come back and potentially bite you? Because it's going to. This oil pan gasket, especially a 27, this is a plastic oil pan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to act like they don't break. But oil pans don't leak. And I knew for a fact when they called about it, like, oh, put an oil pan gasket on here. I'm like, okay, that's not it. I gave them a quote and knew, yeah, all right, I don't know who said they needed it, but okay. The lady said, my husband said so. Okay, husband. The husband was going to waste several $100s putting this on here. Now, I'm in a dilemma because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I was going to go ahead and do it anyway. I can't even, I thought it was sealant, honestly, glue holding it, but it's not. It's a rubber gasket. There's a tab. It's still malleable. I can still move it around. It's not bad. And plus, how the hell is oil going to leak from here up? It doesn't do that. Oil goes from top bottom. Here's the leaking point that's supposed to be. But look, it's going all the way up there. All the way up there. I'm defying gravity. Anytime that somebody assess an oil leak, go with gravity first and then go from there. So the good thing is, I thought it was glue, but it's not glue. It's a gasket, and I can't get the part immediately. I can't expedite this job and get it out ASAP. So I'm forced to have to be honest now, which is fine because I was like, I was at the top, this is not going to be the problem. Let me show you what it looked like at the top. This is what it looks like at the top. Here's the oil filter. Look at that oil down there. More than likely, somebody probably changed the oil. Probably the timing cover, or probably the crank seal that's leaking. Could be. Can't get the camera up in these tight areas. I'm going to start the car up, clean the area, and see if I can find specifically where it's leaking from. I mean, I've done, on the other engines, I've done crank seals. But as far as this one, I mean, I wonder if that's probably the case with this one. The front crank seal's leaking. Let me see if I can find the leak. But, I mean, here's the top part here. Let's see if the oil filter's leaking. It could be improper, like they haven't changed the oil in a while, gasket smashed, and it's leaking from around here. Because this is the highest point. And then there's oil around the lip, well, between the housing of the oil filter cover, oil filter cap, and the oil filter housing. So the oil filter cap and the oil housing is leaking right there. But let me clean this area off with some compressed air, start it up and let it run and see what happens. All right, got everything cleaned up. It looks a lot better. There's a crevice between the oil filter housing. There's the magnetic actuators. There's the oil fill cap. The oil fill cap looked like, ouch, gosh, it looked like that was probably the problem here. But I don't know. It could be between here and then here. So one of these two, make note of that. That's where the two places I want to check, especially the oil filter housing. Let me show you the bottom. So it looks a lot better. Took 3 cans of brake cleaner to get this far, and I ran out. If I had another can, I would hit it again. It looks a lot better. All right, let's start it up. See if we can see anything that's blatant. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See, just that long. Just didn't even, I cleaned everything up, but this didn't take no more than, besides cleaning up, 30 seconds to diagnose. You follow gravity. That's all in a nutshell. See, this is what I mean. Like, I get my morals tested, because as soon as I would have put that gasket on, hundreds of dollars, it would have came right back. And then I would have been like, well, you said it needed, I didn't say it needed a gasket. Y'all said it needed a gasket. It needed only like a freaking $5 part. I'm going to get an oil filter and get a new gasket, put that sucker on there and call it a day. I mean, $10 versus hundreds of dollars sound a lot better. So if they would have just paid a diagnostic cost, and they would have came out cheaper. This, man, I tell you what, this is, I'm glad I couldn't get the gasket, but then again, I was gonna follow through with it, give them what they want. And but long story short, at the end of the day, it would have came back and bit me in the ass. I'm gonna be honest with them. I'm gonna let them know they're gonna have to pay for a diagnostic cost, cleaner, and the part, obviously, and they're gonna come out cheaper. And I'm gonna be done with this tonight. Let me run to the part store. Just got back from the part store. If y'all know, I frequently patronize O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Bittersweet relationship. I got a MicroGuard oil filter. Been using thousands of these. Never had any issues. It's just a regular conventional oil filter. Here's the part number for this. MGL 10396. So the main thing we only need is the gasket. But we're obviously going to change the filter. This is it. This should be the only thing that's leaking. But we're going to change the filter cartridge and do it right. So got a 32 millimeter. Slide on top of here. Pop this right on out. Let's see what it looks like. I put a dipstick down in the oil tube to see what the oil looked like, because this car doesn't have a dipstick, and it is kind of black. I don't know if they need an oil change or not, but I'm doing my part and fixing what needs to be fixed. It's full of oil. I'm not gonna question anything. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let me get a rag. I got a shirt. This is an old towel. Well, it's an old shirt. It's gonna be a towel today. Let's see what we're dealing with. The car had plenty of time to sit there and drain. That was good. Oh wow, is that sludge? Okay, I couldn't tell from the top. Am I doing something wrong here? Why so hard to get out of here? Should just pull right on out, right? Leave it to Volkswagen. Make something difficult. Yeah. They lightly. Seems like we need an oil change or something. It looks like they do, but this is a turbo vehicle, so it's no telling if it just looks bad. I looked inside the engine. I mean, the engine like it was well maintained. I don't like that film that feels like it's in the oil filter cap. Hey, look, I'm doing my part. Fixing this. Let me get a regular towel and see what this oil looks like. But here's the gasket. You can tell like it probably hasn't been changed in a while. Look how smashed it is. It's not supposed to be flat like that. It's not. Let's see if I can feel any major imperfection. No, it's just a flat, worn out gasket. I'm going to assume that they maintain their vehicle well and not change the oil. Because of reasons. There we go. There's a flat gasket. Oh yeah, I was gonna grab a shop towel and run it in here, see what this looks like. It's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. Alright, let's get the thing that's saving her hundreds of dollars. This little O-ring here. And you'll see this would protrude. Oh gosh. See how that sits? It's not flush with the housing. So it doesn't match the threads. It's actually protruding. So this is going to fix that. So I will filter this slider right in there. I mean, the oil filter shouldn't be hard pulling out. Not sure why that one was. It's just changed. Oh shoot. I need to go in here. I can't remember. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Is there supposed to be like a lock or something in there? I don't know. I'll put it back like I found it. Put you right there. Put you in here. You go right there. Screwed in. It worked fine. Not to question anything. Just leaked oil. What's that? So we're all cleaned up and nice and neat looking. One thing left to do is to start it up, see if the leak is still persistent or not. And I wind up fixing this, so let's start it up. I guess I can sleep easy now, knowing I didn't go lowball myself for a measly few $100s to do this job, and I was able to save my integrity. I don't know if anybody else would have did it. Hell, if you would have did it, let me know. but I was honestly battling that. The problem was I felt like if I was to repair this, I would have been set back. I got other jobs out there that I can legitimately fix and get on with life versus doing this, making some money off of it, and them coming back angry and potentially losing the customer. So I guess it's that slow dollar will be the fast dollar any day. I guess this is where that fits in. The backstory was the husband had somebody look at the car. I don't know who, and she don't obviously know who, and they told him that the oil pan gasket is needed. And I'm going to reiterate, if you have to take oil leaks into consideration, don't go to the lowest point, go to the highest point. Gravity is never going to be defied. Oil is always going to fall from the top down 99.9% of the times. So go from the highest point, just as I did. Well, I'm going to conclude this knowing I can sleep easy because I saved face. I didn't just willy-nilly replace a part that didn't need to be replaced. And this part here saved them hundreds of dollars because that's what's wrong with it. I'm just going to say it was a simple misdiagnosis. I wonder if this is part of the fact that people are probably not getting properly compensated for their time in being accurate. Because why bother being accurate when for free when you run the risk of the customer just not returning? Just tell them they need something. And I think this is a circular problem that is just being perpetuated because of people not charging for diagnostic costs. And I don't have any problem with it, but just as you go to the doctor as a necessity, I think we should pay that copay for accuracy and not just to be thrown a prescription. But I don't know if that same rules apply for mechanic service because doctors still screw up. They just guess at things. But I think in a vacuum, if the mechanic was being properly compensated for his time for being accurate, he would be forced to be reckoned with accuracy, to be riddled with accuracy, because now his livelihood depends on it. And if he's wrong, well, they paid for it. And to keep that money coming in, he's going to want to be accurate. And I think that's probably what it is. I got stories as far as talking to mechanics and them not charging for diagnosis. And you can tell based off the quality of their customers, they're going to ensure that he stays out of business because they want something for nothing. And they're taken care of in this aspect here, and they can keep on riding without having to come back to me. They come one time and they're leaving with the issue and they're leaving fixed, versus the alternative, going with what they wanted, what the husband wanted, and going to come back. They're going to come back with a problem. And now I ain't got that. Anyway, I don't think anything's going to happen with this car coming back in regards to the same issue because it's blatant. I mean, what are the odds of a oil filter cover O-ring going bad, new, that I put on? It can happen, but if it do happen, I'll definitely update. Just be sure to hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, had a real show some work. See you next one.